Hi, this is a new vlog to let you know what's been going on. As you can see, I'm well tanned and have had a wonderful vacation. The vacation was not without its trials and tribulations, but we shot video of just about the whole thing, so you'll be able to see what's been going on in, during our trip as I go and edit the video from it. We had some wonderful adventures. It was great. One thing that had happened to me while going on this trip, I had set aside a certain amount of money that I saved last year just to make this trip. And that money got burned up awful fast. It kind of, it disappeared. The part that hurt the most was when I rented a vehicle for one day, and while I rented that vehicle, the car rental company pre-authorized $200 over the cost of rental of the vehicle and locked up that $200. I cut things really close, so that $200 being locked up, I couldn't spend it. It's still locked up. I tried to use it today. So apparently the people at Money Mart tell me that they can lock things for 42 days. But I only drove the car one afternoon and I didn't damage it and everything was fine. My money should have been released immediately. So it's some kind of scam they're pulling there. But I have to go back about back to the 1980s when I talk about what I'm going to talk about now. Back in the 1980s, I was living in Montreal, Quebec, and I was suffering, or I was receiving some kinds of trouble finding employment, because maybe of my ethnic background. And in Quebec, they're very, shall I say, discriminatory towards people who are not of French Canadian background. And just because I was born in Montreal and I grew up and went to school there and did everything there, I'm still not considered I'm considered a second-class citizen, or I was. And I thought of coming out to British Columbia around the mid-1980s. And in 1992, I made that a reality. I started again. And, life was pretty good. I drove cab. In the first 15 years I was driving cab, everything got, I made more money every year than the year before, which was good. I was keeping up with the cost of living. And, things were working out. But, it took me several years to decide to actually move, to say, okay, this is it. I've had enough. I'm going. Well, back in October of 2008, the end of September actually, the word recession was being spoken by many people. And when people said the word recession, suddenly everyone got tight-fisted. The customers wouldn't tip so much. I wouldn't get so many customers anymore. It used to be we were steady working. You'd get a call, you'd clear from it. Within a few minutes, you'd get another call. The longest you'd wait is maybe half an hour. And that was okay because it was a welcome break. And then after you've waited half an hour, you get a call, and then you get another call, you get another call, and then you wait 15 minutes or 20 minutes. Then you get another call, get another call, get another call. And that's the way the business used to go. I remember Fridays and Saturday nights, I would come out at 5 or 6 o'clock, and I would not stop till 5 or 6 o'clock, 12 hours later, with $500 in my pocket. I mean, this was commonplace, especially on Friday and Saturday nights. The other nights weren't too bad, you'd make $250, $300. Now you make $200 if you're really lucky, if you've done well, But it used to be the kind of luck that would bring $300 in the past now brings $200. And Friday and Saturday, my benchmark was at least $430, $450. Now, if I make 300, I'm doing good. And that is before paying for the fuel that I burn and before paying for the use of the car. So the last 5 years have been not so good. I've gone through bankruptcy. I've gone through, dealing in cash only. I've got no credit. I can't get any credit. If I want to use a credit card, I have to prepay the card to make use of it. And that's what I did. I had prepaid this card, and I figured, okay, I'm going to burn up whatever's on there. But I didn't plan on $200 of my money to be held for all that time. The same kind of crap happened a couple of years ago when Cindy and I went on a cruise. They locked up $1,000 of mine, and I couldn't use it. It was locked up. And anyway, the main thrust of things, people, when I was on my trip, independently told me that I should do something else. And one particular gentleman that we ran into, well, it's a friend of ours, told me that his son is working up in the oil patch, and he's a apprentice mechanic. He has to study another year to become a full mechanic, but he's an apprentice mechanic. And the money is so good, the money is several times more money than what he used to see working down in the south of Canada. Money like you've never seen before is happening up there, and they're crying for people. They're crying for people in the north. And the deal is that you work in a camp. It's a dry camp, so you don't drink. You just work, you sleep, you eat, you work, you sleep, you eat, you poop, you work, you sleep, you eat, you poop. And it's for a stint of maybe 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, maybe a month at a time. But after that 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or a month at a time, you get a week or two off, a whole week or two. And they fly you back home. And they fly you back into work. They pay to fly you out of the camp and fly you back into the camp. Now, what do I do now? I wake up, I eat, I poop, I take a shower, I go to work. After work, I come home, I eat, and the cycle just continues, except that I have the weekends off 2 days in a row. And I'm not making any money. I think maybe I'll clear, $20,000 this year. And at what things cost where I live in Victoria, that's just existence. That's not living. If I want to buy something, just this morning, for example, I went to get my prescriptions filled, and the medical insurance company had done something. They changed their policy, and as a result of them changing their policy, my medications were not covered. In fact, I could not get my medications because I didn't have any money on me, because usually they were covered by the medical insurance. So now I have to run to my doctor this afternoon, when I should be sleeping, and get a special permission, special request, authority, something or other letter, so that I'll be covered. I was able to get 7 days worth of pills, of one kind of pill. I take 5. Anyway, it was 7 days worth of pills for $5, and usually it's free. They waived the dispensing fee now. Now I got to get my this special authority, that's what they call it, from my doctor, in order for the medical insurance to cover my pills. This kind of bullshit is something that I would not have to put up with if I just had a lot of money. And I would like to just go into a store and buy something when I want it, rather than have to save up to pay my rent and save up to pay groceries and then pay taxes and have nothing left. So it's getting to the point where I'm about to decide to go north and work. I say, to hell with this taxi thing, it's not going anywhere. And if I'm working in camp, I can make insane amounts of money. I have a Class 1 driver's license with air brake certification. I've had this thing for over 20 years but haven't really used it. And, you know, I'd be maybe driving a big dump truck on a construction site way up north, or, you know, maybe hauling stuff to faraway communities from like a warehouse in the city somewhere. But either way, I do have some skills. I have, like I said, I have that trucker's license. And, you know, if I meet the right people, I can maybe get into working up there. I also have a degree in geology. That might help a little bit. Depends where I end up working. But I really don't care what I have to do as long as I can make some insane amounts of money, so that when I come back to town, I can just buy whatever I want. And if I have like 2 weeks off between stints in camp, we can take a vacation somewhere and travel the way we used to, travel the way we love to, and maybe travel first class for a change instead of, you know, traveling in steerage like we've been doing the last few times. Okay, we've seen some good things. We've had some wonderful experiences, but I want to be able to go on a road trip and be able to afford stopping at an inn or motel every night, and maybe eating in a restaurant every night instead of camping and having to unload and reload the van every time we stop somewhere, because Cindy wants to sleep in the van and I have to set up my tent, and we have all the van full of our food and clothes and equipment and stuff. And it's just, you know, I'm saying never again will I go on a road trip like this where we've got so much stuff along. I would rather just pay for lodging and pay for food, and, you know, just bring a few things that in the way of equipment that we might want to bring, rather than everything that we own. So, yeah, it looks like I've gone over 13 minutes already just talking about what's on my mind. But that's what's on my mind nowadays. And I'm going to do some research, and as soon as I've got a bit of money saved up, I'm going to go north and look for work. That's the plan right now. Meanwhile, I will go back to work driving taxi until I have a bit of money put together and can make such a trip. Because such a trip would only be going a little farther than we went on this one. And, you know, if you're willing to go the distance, and I'm hungry now, I'm hungry. I haven't seen much money in years. So it's time, and I am tired of the taxi thing. Yes, I am. I'm just sort of going through the motions rather than enjoying it like I used to. So, what to do with the midlife crisis? Make a change. And everything's been pushing in that direction lately. It takes me a while to get out of my comfort zone, but when my comfort zone kind of slides out from under me, I gotta make a change. Just like I moved west 21 years ago, now I'm gonna go north. And maybe this time seek my fortune, rather than seek my fortune and find eventual poverty. Well, I hope yours is better than mine.
Feckwig.
Feckwig. Fetwick.
Feckwig.
Fetwick.
Feckwig.